The world reforms around you, not as a gentle awakening, but as a violent, sensory assault. The dominant feeling is smell. It's a thick, unholy trinity of smells, the metallic tang of fresh blood, the churned, wet earth of a rice paddy, and the sour stink of human fear. Your lungs, not your own, heave with exertion. Your heart, a drum against your ribs, beats a rhythm of savage survival that your 21st century mind finds utterly terrifying. You are on your knees. Rain, thin and cold, slicks back the black hair plastered to your forehead. Your hands, calloused and strong, grip the tsuka, the hilt of a katana. It feels less like a tool and more like an extension of your arm, a seamless, terrifying fusion of flesh and steel. The weight of it is familiar to this body, but alien to you, the consciousness inhabiting it. Before you, a man lies twisted in the mud. He wears the simple armor of an ashigaru, a foot soldier. His eyes, wide and glassy, are locked on a sky he no longer sees. A dark, blossoming stain spreads across the chest of his tunic. Your blade did that. A voice, ancient and unfamiliar, screams inside your modern skull. Oh God, I killed him. I just killed a man. He had a family. He had a life. This is murder. But the body does not listen. It operates on a different code, on years of brutal, repetitive training that has carved pathways of instinct deeper than any morality you know. Your right arm, with a fluid economy of motion you don't control, raises the katana. It performs the chiburui, a sharp, powerful flick of the wrist. A spray of red droplets arcs through the air, cleansing the steel. The gesture is as automatic and unthinking as blinking. You try to stand, but your legs tremble. The armor, the dew protecting your chest. The sword on your shoulders feels like a leaden cage. It's heavy, cumbersome, and stinks of sweat and old leather. A wave of nausea, born from the conflict raging within you, rises in your throat. Then you hear a sound, a single, slow clap. You look up. 50 paces away, on a small rise overlooking this field of slaughter, sits a man on a magnificent black warhorse. He is Lord Ishikawa, your daimyo. His own armor is a work of art, lacquered black and gold, with a fearsome mempo, a face mask forged into a demonic snarl. He is not looking at the carnage. He is looking directly at you. His gaze is as sharp and penetrating as a spear tip. He is the sun you orbit, and his light is both life-giving and searing. Beside him, another mounted samurai shifts in his saddle. This is Kageyama Saito. Even from this distance, you can feel the heat of his glare. His helmet is adorned with menacing horns, like a beetle. He is your rival. He sees your survival, your kill, not as a feat of arms, but as an affront to his own status. Lord Ishikawa speaks. His voice cuts through the rain and the groans of the dying. The pup has teeth. He doesn't smile. He doesn't need to. His approval is a tangible force, a wave of warmth that momentarily pushes back the horror. He has seen you. He has judged you. And for now, you have been found worthy. That single moment of recognition from your Lord does something terrifying. It quiets the screaming modern voice in your head, replacing it with a flush of pride that feels both addictive and poisonous. The central question of your existence has been answered, for today at least. You can be this killer, because in this world, Being a killer is the only way to live. The battle is over. The days that follow are a blur of grim duties and relentless conditioning. You help carry the dead from the field. You clean your armor until your fingers are raw, rubbing a foul-smelling oil into the leather straps to keep them from rotting. Every moment is a sensory lesson in the grim reality of a samurai's life. The modern part of you wants to recoil, to find a quiet corner and process the trauma. The 16th century body you inhabit allows no such weakness. It craves routine. It demands action. Lord Ishikawa summons you. You walk through the encampment, a chaotic city of canvas tents, smoking cookfires, and the constant, unnerving clang of hammers repairing dented armor. You arrive at his command tent and kneel, head bowed, on a rough straw mat. "Your name is not yet known," he says, his eyes scrutinizing you. "But your blade is. You held the flank. You did not break." He makes a gesture. An attendant comes forward, carrying a set of armor. It is not the simple, functional set you wear now. This is lacquered a deep crimson. The breastplate is embossed with the Ishikawa clan's mon, a stylized heron. "Wear this. You will join my personal guard." The honor is so immense it feels like a physical blow. You are being lifted from the anonymous mass of warriors into the elite. But as you look up to give your thanks, you see Kageyama standing behind the Lord, his arms crossed. The look in his eyes is not just envy. It is a promise of future conflict. He believes that armor should be his. The following weeks are spent in the dojo. This is Kageyama's domain. Here, the dominant sense is touch. The stinging bite of the shinai, the bamboo practice sword as it cracks against your ribs. The rough, sweat-soaked grip of your own weapon. The jarring impact that travels up your arms as your blade is parried. Kageyama does not train you, he punishes you. He is faster, more precise. His style a whirlwind of aggressive, merciless strikes. He leaves you bruised, exhausted, and humiliated day after day. You fight with the fury of a peasant. He snarls, knocking the shinai from your grasp. All strength, no grace. You were lucky on that field. Luck runs out. The modern voice in your head screams with frustration. This is insane. He's trying to injure me, but the samurai body understands. This is a test. Every blow is a question. Will you break? Will you yield? You force yourself to your feet. Pick up your shinai and bow. Again. Saito-sama. The submission in your voice masks a growing core of iron resolve. You learn more from his beatings than you ever did from formal instruction. You learn to anticipate. You learn to endure. Your first duty as a member of the guard. It is not a glorious charge, but a silent, freezing vigil. You stand guard outside Lord Ishikawa's quarters in a captured castle keep. It's the hour of the ox, the dead of night. The dominant senses are sound and sight. The whisper of the wind through the paper shoji screens. The distant hoot of an owl. The unnerving creak of old floorboards. Your mind, the modern one, drifts. It thinks of beds, of safety, of a world without sharp edges. The samurai body remains taut, a coiled spring, its eyes, trained to see in the dark. Scan the patterns of shadow and light, and then you see it. A flicker of movement in the garden below. Not a soldier on patrol. This shadow is too low, too fast. It moves with the liquid grace of a predator, a ninja. Every horror story you've ever heard about these phantom assassins floods your mind. They are spies, saboteurs, killers who move like ghosts. Protocol dictates you sound the alarm. Waking the entire keep is the safe, correct thing to do. But Kageyama's taunts echo in your ears, the fury of a peasant. Sounding the alarm would be the act of a frightened guard. Taking direct action, that is the act of a true samurai. Besides, by the time the guards are mustered, the assassin could be gone, or worse, have already reached his target. You make a choice. It's a choice born of pride and a desperate need to prove yourself. Silently, you slip off your sandals. You draw your wakizashi, the shorter companion sword. A katana is too long for the tight corridors inside. The body you inhabit knows this instinctively. You become a shadow hunting a shadow. You follow the assassin through the labyrinthine passages of the keep. The only sounds are the beating of your own heart and the soft padding of your feet on the polished wood. You find him outside the paper screen of your lord's bedchamber, a small, wicked-looking blade in his hand. There is no time for a challenge, no room for honor. You lunge from the darkness, a brutal, efficient attack aimed at the back of his neck. He is good. He senses you at the last second and twists, but your blade still finds a home deep in his shoulder. He lets out a choked cry and collapses. You stand over him, chest heaving. You have killed again. This time, it wasn't in the heat of battle. It was a calculated act of execution, and it feels necessary. Lord Ishikawa emerges, alerted by the noise. He looks at the body, then at you. He prods the dead ninja with his foot, revealing a tattoo on the assassin's wrist, the mark of a rival clan he was supposedly negotiating peace with. You did not raise the alarm. Ishikawa states, "It's not a question." "There was no time, my lord," you say, your voice steady despite the adrenaline. He looks at you for a long, unreadable moment. You have good instincts, and you are quiet. A useful combination. He walks away, leaving you alone with your second kill and the chilling realization that you have just become a more valuable, and therefore more disposable, tool. Your success has only deepened Kageyama's animosity. He can no longer mock your battlefield prowess or your vigilance. So he attacks the one thing he knows you value, your honor. He begins to spread subtle rumors that you were not vigilant, but simply stumbled upon the assassin by chance. That your kill was clumsy and loud. He knows this will provoke you. The modern mind within you understands his game. Ignore him. He's baiting you. But the samurai you are becoming cannot abide the insult. To have your honor questioned is to have your existence questioned. You confront him in the main courtyard as he drills a unit of a shigaru. "Saito-sama," you say, your voice loud enough for all to hear. "You have questioned my actions. If you believe I acted without honor, then face me. Let the sword decide." A hush falls over the courtyard. This is a formal challenge. To refuse is to admit cowardice. Kageyama's lips curl into a cruel smile. This is exactly what he wanted. "I accept," he says smoothly. "A duel to first blood. To teach a pup his place. You face each other with live steel, your katanas drawn. This is not a practice session with bamboo. The air crackles with lethal intent. The dominant sense is kinesthetic. You feel the perfect, familiar balance of the katana in your hands. You feel the tension in your thighs as you settle into a low stance. You feel the ground beneath your feet, every pebble and grain of sand. Kageyama is a blur of motion. His attacks are a storm of steel, designed to overwhelm you. He is technically superior, and you both know it. He presses you back, his blade a silver flicker that comes from all angles. He's toying with you, humiliating you, showing the onlookers how much better he is. Your arm burns with fatigue. Your lungs scream for air. The modern voice is panicking. I can't win. He's too good. Kageyama lunges, a textbook thrust aimed at your chest. You parry, but the force of it staggers you. You stumble backward, your foot slipping on a patch of loose gravel. You are off balance, exposed. It's over. But in that split second of falling, a desperate, peasant-like instinct, the very thing Kageyama mocked, takes over. It's not a trained move from the dojo. It's a brawler's tactic. As you fall, you kick out, sweeping your leg and hooking it behind his ankle. At the same time, you throw a handful of gravel from the ground straight into his face. It is a dirty, dishonorable trick. Kageyama bellows in surprise and pain. Momentarily blinded, his perfect form breaks. He stumbles, and in that one ugly, desperate moment, you are no longer falling but lunging upward from the ground. Your blade, moving on instinct, snakes under his guard and lays a thin, red line across his cheek. First blood, silence. You have won. But the victory tastes like ash. You didn't win with superior skill or a purer spirit. You won with a trick worthy of a bandit. You get to your feet, breathing heavily. Kageyama touches his cheek, looks at the blood on his fingers, and then looks at you. His eyes are no longer filled with mere contempt. They are filled with a bottomless, murderous hatred. Lord Ishikawa, who has been watching from the veranda, claps his hands together. A sharp, final sound. Enough. The matter is settled. Victory is victory. His pragmatic approval feels more damning than any condemnation. You have won the duel and secured your place, but you have lost a piece of your idealized self. You are learning the second great lesson of this world: survival is often a dirtier business than honor. Victory has a strange aftertaste. You are now firmly established in Lord Ishikawa's favor, a hero of the last battle and the victor of a public duel. Yet, you feel more isolated than ever. Your new position takes you from the barracks and thrusts you into the heart of the castle. The war of swords is replaced by a war of whispers. The dominant senses here are sight and hearing. The world becomes a place of surfaces and hidden meanings. You see the way courtiers smile while their eyes remain cold. You see the subtle ranking in how low one person bows to another. You hear the rustle of silk as ladies of the court pass by, their conversations stopping abruptly, only to resume in hushed tones once you are gone. You are a tool of violence in a world of delicate, deadly artistry. Lord Ishikawa assigns you a new duty. You are to be the bodyguard for an emissary from the Hojo clan, a powerful rival with whom Ishikawa is forging a fragile alliance. The emissary is an old man named Lord Tanaka, with a face like a wrinkled parchment and eyes that seem to miss nothing. He is our guest. Lord Ishikawa tells you in private, ensure his safety and his comfort. The unspoken meaning is clear. Watch him. Listen to everything. He is a snake we must temporarily welcome into our home. Your days are spent in silence, standing a few paces behind Lord Tanaka as he engages in the delicate dance of diplomacy. He practices calligraphy, and you watch the brushstrokes form beautiful, complex characters you cannot read. He attends tea ceremonies, where the simple act of whisking green tea is imbued with 1,000 years of tradition and meaning. The modern part of your mind is bored and restless. The samurai part is on high alert. You are learning that power is not just a sharp sword. It is the ability to read the hidden meaning in a poem, to understand the insult veiled within a compliment. One evening, Lord Tanaka is composing a poem. He glances at you, a flicker of amusement in his old eyes. "Young warrior," he says, his voice raspy. "A cage is still a cage, no matter how gilded." Is he talking about himself, a guest who is also a prisoner? Or is he talking about you, a decorated warrior who is little more than his lord's loyal dog? The ambiguity is a weapon, and it strikes you more precisely than Kageyama's sword ever did. You feel a profound unease. You are trapped not by walls, but by a code of loyalty you are beginning to realize you don't fully understand. You begin to notice things, small, discordant details. You see one of Lord Ishikawa's advisors in a hushed, frantic conversation with one of Lord Tanaka's junior attendants. You find a discarded message scroll near the kitchens, its message hastily smudged. But you recognize the Hojo clan's seal. Your modern brain, trained on thrillers and conspiracy theories, immediately connects the dots. The assassination attempt you foiled, the arrival of this emissary, the secret meetings, it all points to a conspiracy. But who is conspiring against whom? The samurai mind resists this conclusion. It is built on a foundation of loyalty. To suspect your own lord is a profound betrayal, a sickness of the soul. You are caught in the central conflict of the dual prism, your 21st century cynicism versus your 16th century conditioning. You decide to take a terrible risk. Under the cover of darkness, you sneak into the castle's records room. It is forbidden territory. If caught, the only outcome is death. The room smells of old paper and drying ink. You carefully unroll the official scrolls detailing recent communications with the Hojo clan. The official letters are filled with pleasantries and promises of peace. But then you find it, a separate, hidden compartment in a chest. Inside is another set of scrolls. The handwriting is Lord Ishikawa's. The messages are coded, but the meaning is clear. He is not forging an alliance with the main Hojo clan. He is conspiring with a lesser, ambitious branch of their family to assassinate the current Hojo leader and Lord Tanaka, his guest. The plan is to blame the assassination on a third clan, triggering a war that will allow Ishikawa and his Hojo allies to seize new territory. The emissary, Lord Tanaka, is not a snake in your home. He is a sacrificial lamb. The discovery shatters you. The modern voice is screaming, "I told you so." He's a monster, a tyrant. The samurai soul is reeling in agony. The man you swore your life to, the man who gave you purpose and honor, is a duplicitous monster. Your loyalty, your sacrifices, the men who died beside you, all in service of a lie. You hear footsteps approaching. You hastily put the scrolls back, your heart hammering against your ribs. You melt back into the shadows just as two guards pass by on their patrol. The close call leaves you trembling, not with fear of being caught, but with the terrifying weight of what you now know. The next morning, you are summoned by Lord Ishikawa. He is in his full armor, radiating a terrifying energy. He smiles at you, a rare and unsettling sight. "One, I have a great honor for you," he says, his voice booming with false sincerity. The Takeda clan has fortified a small outpost at the Kiso River crossing. It disrupts our supply lines. You will lead a small force, 50 men. You will take that outpost at dawn and hold it. It is a glorious mission that will bring you great fame. You look at the map he has unrolled on the table. You see the location of the outpost. You see the surrounding terrain, and your blood runs cold. It is a death trap. A small wooden fort surrounded by open ground, easily encircled. Attacking it with a mere 50 men is not a glorious mission. It is suicide, and you understand. He knows you've been snooping, or he suspects you. This isn't an honor. This is a neat and tidy way to get rid of a tool that has become too sharp, too inquisitive. He is sending you to die, and he is doing it with a smile, cloaking it in the language of honor and glory. Kageyama is standing behind him, a look of smug triumph on his face. He will likely be given command of the main force that discovers your heroic last stand. You have two choices: refuse, and you will be executed for insubordination on the spot. Accept, and you march to certain death. The modern voice screams, "Run, flee, expose him." But where would you go? A samurai without a master is less than nothing, a pariah. And who would believe your word against a powerful daimyo? The samurai conditioning takes over. It is a strange, fatalistic calm. The code of Bushido is clear. You do not question an order, you obey, even if it leads to your death. To die in battle, even a pointless one, is an honorable end. To be beheaded in the castle courtyard is a disgrace. It will be my honor, my lord. You say, your voice a hollow echo of its former self. You bow deeply, the weight of your armor, your loyalty, and your impending doom pressing down on you. You lead your 50 men through the pre-dawn mist. Among them is Kenji, your friend, the humble Ashigaru who has somehow survived this long. He's not a samurai, but he has more honor in his little finger than your lord has in his entire body. He marches beside you, humming a simple folk song, oblivious to the fact that he is walking towards his grave. A glorious day, my lord, he says, his breath fogging in the chill air. To fight beside you is a great honor. His simple, earnest loyalty is a knife in your gut. You know you are leading him to his death, and the lie chokes you. You reach the Kiso River crossing. The outpost is exactly as you feared, a flimsy wooden stockade on a low hill. It is bait. As your men begin their charge across the open field, a war horn sounds from the hills on either side of you. The trap is sprung. Hundreds of Takeda soldiers, hidden in the tree line, rise up. A storm of arrows rains down upon your men. It's a slaughter. Men scream and fall, pin-cushioned with arrows. The charge falters, turning into a confused, terrified scramble for cover that doesn't exist. "It's an ambush!" Kenji yells, stating the obvious. There is no glory here, no honor, just the butchery of good men. A rage, cold and pure, unlike anything you have ever felt, eclipses your fear and your fatalism. It is rage at Ishikawa, rage at Kageyama, rage at the entire hypocritical system you have given your life to. If you are to die, you will not die as a pawn. When the river, you roar, your voice cutting through the chaos. Form a shield wall at the bank now. You and the handful of survivors, no more than 20 men, scramble to the river's edge. You raise your shields, creating a desperate makeshift wall. The Takeda forces, seeing their prey cornered, descend from the hills for the final kill. What follows is a brutal, intimate, and hopeless fight. There is no room for elegant swordsmanship. It is a meat grinder. You stab, you shove, you kick. You use your shield as a weapon, smashing it into faces. You feel a searing pain in your leg as a spear thrust gets past your guard. You are fighting back to back with Kenji. He fights with a simple spear, but with the heart of a lion. He saves your life, spearing a Takeda warrior who was about to strike you from behind. I think this is it, my lord, Kenji says, a grim smile on his face, blood trickling from a cut on his forehead. If it is, you reply, parrying a sword thrust. We will send them a hefty butcher's bill for a moment, a glorious, insane moment. You feel like you might actually survive. You are holding them. But then a Takeda samurai, larger than the rest, wearing the armor of a captain, breaks through your line. He swings a massive no-dachi, a two-handed greatsword, in a deadly arc. You are too slow, your wounded leg giving way. You see the blade coming for your neck. This is the end. But Kenji shoves you. He pushes you out of the way, taking the full force of the blow himself. The massive sword cuts deep into his side. He collapses into the muddy water of the river's edge, his spear clattering on the rocks. You scream. It is a sound of pure animalistic rage. You lunge at the Takeda captain, all thoughts of defense gone. Your blade finds a gap in his armor, under the arm, and you drive it home with all your strength. He falls. You scramble to Kenji's side. You pull him from the water. His eyes are glazed with pain, but he is still conscious. My lord. He coughs, blood flecking his lips. Was it for honor? Looking into the eyes of this dying man, this good man who you led into a slaughterhouse, the lie dies on your lips. You cannot say yes. No, Kenji. You whisper, your voice breaking. It was for nothing. A look of understanding, of profound and terrible peace, passes over his face. Ah. He sighs. And then he is gone. The battle is a fever dream. Your rage gives you inhuman strength, but you are one man, wounded and surrounded. The world begins to go dark at the edges. Just as you are about to be overwhelmed, you hear it. The war horn of the Ishikawa clan, the main force, led by Kageyama, has arrived. The Takeda, their surprise ambush now turning into a protracted battle, begin a tactical retreat. Kageyama's forces save you. You are the only survivor from your unit of 50. You are carried back to the main camp. Kageyama looks down at you on the stretcher, his face a mask of false sympathy that doesn't hide the triumphant gleam in his eyes. A tragedy, he says. But your heroic sacrifice bought us the time we needed. Lord Ishikawa will be pleased. The words are poison. You say nothing. The physical pain in your leg is nothing compared to the void where your loyalty used to be. The campaign turns into a disaster. The Hojo conspiracy fails. The combined might of the true Hojo clan and the Takeda proves too much for Ishikawa's ambitions. His army is shattered in a decisive battle. Your clan is broken. You find yourself back in the main keep of Ishikawa Castle. But it is not a triumphant return. It is a prelude to a funeral. The enemy is at the gates. Defeat is absolute. Lord Ishikawa has chosen his path. The only path left for a defeated daimyo to retain a final shred of honor seppuku. Ritual suicide. You are summoned to the main hall. It is empty, stripped of its finery. Lord Ishikawa kneels in the center of the room, dressed in a simple white kimono. He is calm, serene. All his ambition and deceit have been burned away, leaving only this final act. He looks at you, the survivor of his suicide mission, you, the witness to his treachery. I have requested you as my kaishakunin, he says, his voice even. My second. It is the highest honor I can bestow. The honor is an obscenity. The kaishakunin's role is one of compassion to end the suffering with a swift beheading after the samurai has made the sacrificial cut with the wakizashi. To perform this act for the man who murdered your friend, who sent you to die, who built his honor on a mountain of lies, it is the ultimate, bitter irony. The modern voice is howling, refuse, let him suffer, kill him yourself. But you are standing in a room with a man about to perform the most solemn ritual of your culture. Your body, your samurai soul, understands the gravity of this moment. To refuse is unthinkable. It would be a stain on your own honor, regardless of the Lord's character. In this final moment, the code is all that is left. You take up the katana. You stand behind him. Your hands do not tremble. Your heart is a cold, dead stone in your chest. Lord Ishikawa speaks his death poem. He then takes the wakizashi, unwraps the silk from its blade, and with a final, shuddering breath, plunges it into his own abdomen and cuts. Your training is absolute. As his body tenses for the final, agonizing pull, your sword is already in motion. It whistles through the air. The cut is perfect, clean, merciful. Lord Ishikawa's body slumps forward. His head falls to the mat. It is done. You stand there, the sword heavy in your hand. The last tie that bound you to this world has been severed. Your lord is dead. Your clan is defeated. Your friends are gone. Your honor is a phantom. You are nothing. A wave, its purpose spent, now receding back into a vast, indifferent ocean. You are a ronin. The world outside the castle walls is a harsh, unforgiving reality. As a ronin, a masterless samurai, you are no longer an object of respect or fear. You are an object of suspicion. You are a ghost, haunting a world that no longer has a place for you. The dominant sense is touch, in its most primal form. The gnawing, cramping hunger in your belly. The biting wind that cuts through the thin fabric of your worn kimono. The rough, calloused skin of your feet as you walk endless, dusty roads. The cold, hard ground that is your bed at night. Your magnificent crimson armor, the symbol of your former glory, becomes a liability. It marks you as a defeated warrior. It is also incredibly heavy. Days into your journey, driven by a hunger so sharp it feels like a blade in your gut. You make a decision that would have been unthinkable just weeks ago. You find a merchant in a small, dirty town and sell it. You lay the pieces on his mat, the dough, the sode, the kabuto. Each piece is a memory, a victory, a loss. He gives you a handful of coins and a plain, brown kimono. The transaction feels like you are selling pieces of your own soul, dressed in the simple garment. You feel lighter, but also terrifyingly vulnerable. Anonymous. Days bleed into weeks. You drift. You take on odd jobs. Not as a warrior, but as a laborer. You chop wood. You work as a guard for a traveling merchant, fighting off scruffy bandits who are as desperate as you are. The fights are ugly, clumsy things, devoid of any honor. It's about survival. Nothing more. The dual prism, the conflict within you, rages. The modern mind understands this. It's about survival. Do what you have to do. But the samurai soul is in agony. It is drowning in shame. You were born and bred for one purpose, to serve a master. Without one, you are a ship without a rudder, a sword without a hand to wield it. This internal battle is more exhausting than any physical hardship. One night, sheltering from the rain in a ruined temple, you are startled by a noise. It's another ronin, gaunt and with a feverish look in his eyes. He sees the quality of your swords, your only remaining mark of status. Fine blades, he rasps. Too fine for a dog like you. A dog should not have the fangs of a wolf. He draws his own rusty sword and lunges. The fight is over in seconds. He is weak from starvation and sickness. Your parry breaks his blade. Your counter-thrust is a mercy. As he lies dying, you see not an enemy, but a mirror. A reflection of what you could become. A desperate animal, consumed by shame and hunger. Your wanderings lead you to a small, isolated village nestled in a mountain valley. It's a poor place. The roofs are patched with straw. The fields are small, and the people are thin. But there is a quiet dignity to it. They are not warriors, or lords, or schemers. They are just people trying to live. You try to pass through, but you collapse from exhaustion and the festering spear wound in your leg, which has never properly healed. You wake up on a simple futon in a small hut. An old woman is tending to your wound with a poultice of herbs. Her name is Hisa. The village headman, a stout farmer named Jiro, sits beside her. They are not afraid of you. They are wary, but they see the man, not just the swords. You are a samurai, Jiro asks. I was. You reply, the word tasting like ash. Now, I am nothing. A man who can fight is never nothing, Jiro says, his gaze steady. We are simple farmers, but we have a problem. Bandits. They come every few months after the harvest. They take our food, and sometimes they take more. He tells you the bandits are led by a man of terrifying cruelty and skill. They are too strong for the villagers, and the local magistrate is too corrupt or too weak to help. You stay. At first, it's just to heal, but you watch the rhythm of the village. You see the children playing. You see the farmers working together in the fields. You share their simple meals of rice and pickles. For the first time since Kenji's death, you feel a flicker of something other than shame or rage, a sense of peace, a sense of community. The modern voice in your head appreciates this simple, agrarian life. It finds a beauty in it that the samurai was never trained to see. The samurai soul, however, is restless. It sees these people as heta, the common folk, people to be protected, but not to be lived among. You are a wolf trying to live among sheep, but the sheep are about to be slaughtered, and you are the only wolf who can stop it. Jiro asks you to teach them. We do not have swords, but we have spears. We have bamboo. We have hands. Teach us to fight. You hesitate. To train peasants. It is a laughable notion for a samurai. But then you remember Kenji, a peasant with a spear who died with more honor than any lord. You look at the determined faces of these simple farmers, and you see his ghost. This is the aha moment, the great revelation. You have spent your entire life believing that Bushido, the way of the warrior, was about loyalty to a master, about dying with honor for a clan. You see now that you were wrong. That was just one interpretation, a version of the code used by men like Ishikawa to control men like you. The true soul of Bushido is not about who you serve. It is about what you serve. It is not about dying well. It is about living well. It is about using your strength, your skill, your power, not for a lord's ambition, but to protect the helpless, to create order in the chaos, to be a shield for those who have none. This realization is a quiet earthquake. It doesn't shake the world, but it reforms your soul. The shame of being a ronin evaporates, replaced by a profound sense of purpose, a purpose you have chosen for yourself. You agree to train them. You teach the men how to form a spear wall. You teach the women how to use kitchen knives as defensive weapons. You teach the children how to lay traps and use slings. You are not just teaching them to fight. You are giving them hope. And in doing so, you are healing yourself. The bandits come. They ride into the valley not like soldiers, but like a plague. There are about 30 of them, hard-faced men, drunk on sake and arrogance. Their leader rides at the front, a hulking figure in mismatched but high-quality black armor. A horned helmet is strapped to his saddle. Your heart stops. It is Kageyama. He survived the fall of the Ishikawa clan. But where you chose a path of solitary shame, he chose a path of predation. He gathered the worst dregs of the defeated army and became the very thing he once despised, a common brigand. He is your dark reflection, the embodiment of the path you could have taken. The villagers, hiding behind the makeshift barricades you designed, tremble, but they do not break. They have you. You walk out to meet him alone, your katana in your hand. You stand in the middle of the path, a single man against 30. Kageyama pulls his horse to a halt. He peers at you, and then a slow, incredulous laugh escapes his lips. By the gods, he sneers, his voice full of venom. The golden pup. I heard you were dead. Instead, I find you playing nursemaid to a bunch of farmers. Has your honor fallen so low? I have more honor standing here today than you ever had in your life. Kageyama. You say, your voice calm and steady. You were born a samurai, but you will die a common thief. His face contorts with rage. I am a survivor, I take what I want. That is the only law in this fallen world. Get out of my way, or I will kill you. Burn this village to the ground, and salt the earth where it stood. This is the final confrontation, not for a lord, or a clan, or for glory. This is a battle for the soul of Bushido itself. Your version against his. The protector versus the predator. Kill him. Kageyama screams, but he does not advance himself. His men, howling, charge forward. This is where your strategy comes into play. As they charge, the villagers spring their traps. A hidden rope sends the front riders tumbling. A volley of stones from slings harasses their flanks. And as they reach the village entrance, a wall of determined farmers with sharpened bamboo spears rises up from behind the barricades. The bandits, expecting terrified peasants, are met with disciplined resistance. The fight is chaotic and brutal, but the villagers hold their ground, fighting with a ferocity born of desperation and newfound courage. You move through the chaos like a ghost. You are not fighting for glory. You are an instrument of grim necessity. You disable. You disarm. You wound. Your blade is a blur, never wasted. Each movement precise and deadly. You are the anchor point around which the villagers' defense pivots. Finally, you carve a path through to Kageyama. He dismounts, drawing his own magnificent katana. The lesser bandits back away, forming a circle. They know this is the real fight. He is still strong, still fast. He fights with the rage of a cornered animal. His strikes are meant to shatter your sword, to break your bones. But something in you has changed. You are no longer fighting to win. You are simply fighting to protect. You are no longer driven by pride or fear. You are calm, centered, the eye of the storm. You move like water, flowing around his attacks, redirecting his force. Your blade is not an aggressor, it is a response. You see the openings he leaves, the telltale signs of his rage overriding his technique. He overcommits, a desperate, powerful downward slash meant to cleave you in two. You don't meet it head-on. Instead, you step inside the arc of the blow, a move of breathtaking risk and confidence. His sword smashes into the empty ground where you just stood. For a split second, his side is completely exposed. Your sword moves. It is not a gesture of anger, but of finality. A clean, silent thrust. It finds the gap between his breastplate and his hip guard, sliding deep. Kageyama freezes. A look of utter disbelief crosses his face. He looks down at your sword, then back up at you. "How?" he gasps. "You fight for yourself." You say, your voice barely a whisper. "I fight for them." You pull your blade free. He stumbles backward and collapses into the dust. His reign of terror over. Silence falls over the battlefield. The remaining bandits, seeing their leader fall, lose their nerve and flee into the mountains. The battle is won. The village is saved. The villagers rush to you, cheering. They see you not as a ghost or a stray dog, but as their savior. Jiro, the headman, bows low, his forehead touching the ground. "Stay with us, master," he says, his voice thick with emotion. "Be our protector. This can be your home." You look at the burning huts. You look at the faces of the villagers, full of hope and gratitude. You look at the children who are alive because of you. The modern voice in your head, the one that has been your constant companion, urges you to accept. This is peace. This is a home. You've earned it, but the samurai soul knows better. You are a sword. A sword can be a shield, but it cannot be a hearth. Your presence here will only attract more trouble, more Kageyamas, more ambitious lords seeking a skilled blade. You are a storm, and these people deserve peace. Your path is a solitary one. You gently help Jiro to his feet. "You do not need me anymore," you say. "You protected yourselves. I just reminded you how. You accept a meal. You allow Hisa to properly clean and bind your wounds. You stay until the fires are out and the first rays of dawn touch the valley. Then, while the village sleeps, you slip away. You walk down the dusty road, away from the rising sun. You have nothing but the clothes on your back, your swords, and a newfound understanding of yourself. You are not Lord Ishikawa's samurai. You are not a ghost. You are not a hero. You are a ronin, a wave without an ocean, but with its own direction, master of your own destiny. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but for the first time in this life, it is a road you have chosen for yourself, and you walk it alone.